Welcome everyone to Advent of Code 2022, day 6. So today we've got a pretty classic Advent of Code problem, which is that we're basically processing a sequence or a stream of characters, looking for a pattern of some sort, which is a really classic problem that's come up a lot. Sometimes they're absolutely horrific, but fortunately for us today, this one is not too bad at all. This is, as I said, a pretty classic problem, but really they haven't dialed up the complexity, they haven't dialed up the difficulty yet for this year. So this problem is still pretty simple, pretty straightforward to tackle. So yeah, let's jump straight in. As always, our backstory with the elves. So the elves have finished unloading the ship. They're ready to leave where their camp is and make their expedition to the Starfruit Grove. You were given a communication device by one of the elves, and here's the callback to previous things of dealing with signal-based systems, which is usually a sequence thing. He lists out a whole bunch of previous problems that are somewhat similar to this one, or conceptually similar anyway. And yeah, so because of this, the elves are pretty certain that if they give you a broken device, you'll just be able to fix it, no problem. So that's what they do. So your device is broken, and that's basically the setup for it. So to get into the actual problem, then you have a sequence of characters that you're given, and what you're trying to find is a pattern that marks the start of packet marker. So for that, you need to basically find the first time in your sequence of characters that you're given where a four character window is unique. So if we scroll down here to our first sample input, you start reading the string, you get an M, then J, then Q, then J. So you've read four characters here, but the characters aren't all unique because J appears twice, so you need to keep reading. So you drop the M, now you've got, in your sliding window, you've got J, Q, J, P. Again, two J's, not unique. Then you've got Q, J, P, Q. Again, two Q's, not unique. Then you've got J, P, Q, M. This is the first instance of the four character sliding window being all unique. And the index that occurs at is it's index 6 in an array. It's the seventh character in your list. So your answer for the output is 7. And there's a few more examples of that down here. So let's get moving on this. It's very straightforward. I'll go through the code. So for the code here, this is the first time I haven't actually done my line by line file reading because the input is actually just a single line in your file. So I have this other convenience method which just reads out the entirety of the file into a string. In this case, I call the chars method, which in Ruby just splits a string into an array of all the individual characters. I have that saved here. I then instantiate an empty array called sec, which is basically from my sequence, my sliding window sequence. Then for each character in that array, I start looping over each character. Ruby has this convenience method for each with index, which basically means that inside the loop, I get the character that I'm on and the index of it within the sequence. So 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Now, when the sequence length equals 4, which means we've got a fully filled, so we've read the first four characters, from that point onwards, I want to do the shift operation to my little sliding window, which basically lops the first character off the array. So I'm left with a 3-character array. Then I want to add a character to the end, which basically makes your sliding window slide the whole way across. So now, if my sequence is equal to 4, which it will be, because this only happens after that much, then I check. So this is how I'm basically performing the logic of that this is a distinct 4 characters. So the way that works is I run the unique operation on that sequence of 4, which in Ruby will give me only the unique elements of the array. And then I compare that to the original array. And if they're equal, then I know that my 4 characters are unique. And in that case, I write out the answer to the terminal, +1, obviously, because we're array indexing, but we want the character number as opposed to the index. And then break, because once you found that, there's nothing more to do with the string. It only asks you for the first occurrence of this, so you just break at that point, and that's it. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, because our sliding window size isn't very big, this operation isn't super costly. Now, it's not the most efficient way to do it. You could do this more efficiently, but this is the first way that occurred to me to do it, so I did it that way. Moving on then to part 2, and this is similar to the last couple of questions, where for the part 2 they haven't actually made it any more complicated as such, depending, I suppose, on how you solved it the first time. But I don't think they didn't change the difficulty. They didn't really up the ante at all here. All they've done is just changed slightly what you have to do. So now it's looking for a start of message marker, and the only difference to this is it wants to be 14 distinct characters long instead of 4. So the exact same logic applies. You need to do the exact same process, except instead of 4 characters, you're looking for 14, and that's it. So my solution code is basically identical, except a 4 in part 1 becomes a 14 in part 2 in 2 places. Aside from that, it's literally the exact same code. Yeah, so not a huge jump there, really, which is, yeah, I mean, they also both run pretty much the same time. They're both doing very similar amount of work. They just both, one gets deeper into the array of characters than the other. And that's about it, really. Really simple today. Yeah, so anyway, hope you're enjoying. I'm still enjoying, having fun. I'm counting. I feel like I'm criticizing that they're so simple so early, but I know that I'm going to be cursing this in like a few days' time, and it will only be a few days' time. I was waiting for, there will be a step change in difficulty that I'm waiting for, and I'm terrified for it. But anyway, yeah, I'm having fun still, and I will be still having fun. When it gets really hard, I'll just be, tearing my hair out as well, banging my head off the desk a lot more. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you all tomorrow.